right, if I can have everyone's attention, we will keep it going with our availability here at Phoenix International Raceway with Jimmie Johnosn, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Patriotic Chevrolet. First of all, congratulations on your win last week at Texas. 4 wins here at Phoenix. You have finishes of 6 or better in each of the last 3 Phoenix races. So talk a little bit about your thoughts on coming into this weekend's race.
Yeah, excited to be here, especially after our performance in Texas, and then even back a few days, our test session that we had in Miami. We did test here. It didn't go exactly how we wanted, but the last 10 days we've learned a lot about our race cars, and I'm feeling very optimistic about how our Lowe's Chevy is going to run here this weekend. The 24 had an incredible test, and I really expect him to be fast, and clearly something that he and that team need to have for this weekend. But I had a great week, spent some time out here in this direction, I should say. It was on the West Coast. I went to the SEMA show for Chevrolet and unveiled a really cool Stingray Corvette, 71 Vet, and then I had a photo shoot for a sponsor and stuff. So it's been nice to be out west and ready to go racing.
All right, we'll open it up for questions for Jimmie. Please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start in the back with Claire, then go to Tom.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Given what we saw last week, you kind of wonder whether, like the Hendrick drivers are usually finesse drivers. They don't get into a lot of trouble. It's just how the drivers at Hendrick are. If the drivers who come in that are more aggressive in another way, if they will change, because drivers like you will have to change to be more aggressive in taking chances that maybe would have made sense before, or if you guys will change the aggressive driver taking the chances. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that everybody's gotten more aggressive. The Mark Martin days of pointing someone by and I'll worry about passing you later and I expect you to point me by too, those days are long gone. So I think as a group, we have been migrating in the more aggressive manner. It doesn't matter age, team you drive for, individual themselves, it's all been going more aggressive for sure.
All right, we'll go next with Tom.
Hi, Jimmy. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Given that we have 8 guys going for 4 places, what are some of the little things guys are going to do to try to hold each other up short of wrecking them? Will rivals pick pit stalls next to each other? Will they, make it tough to pass? What should we look for?
Yeah, the pit stall game, I don't know much about. I mean, I've always had the opinion you want to qualify as good as you can. If you don't, you want to try to pick around slower cars so you got a better in and out. So I don't know how. I mean, yes, you can try to play that game. It's just not been in our wheelhouse. Being aggressive on restarts is going to be key. And then, the short run is very important here to get your track position and maintain it. So I think that's going to be a top priority for people, and I don't think you're going to see anyone cutting each other slack, for 5 or 10 laps until we kind of settle in and go at that point. But one thing that I do have to point out, it got me in 12 and it got Matt last year. We have long green flag runs here, and you can run the right front off the car. It happened to me, it happened to Matt. 2 championship teams in the thick of things. This track had a big impact just on handling. So getting handling right here is not easy to do.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Marty in the back, then come up front to John and Reed.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Johnson, why is everybody so mad at Keselowski? Like, what's he doing that's making everyone so mad?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, and it seems to have gone on for quite some time. You go back to, I think it was Carl and Brad had their dust up a while ago. This has been building. I can promise you it's not jealousy. I know that's been thrown out there. I think it's more about the stuff that happens on the track and off, and a style, an attitude, a variety of things like that all play into it. And truthfully, it pisses people off more than others. Like, I don't really care about what happens outside of the car and what people say. Some people really get affected by that and really get wound up about it and caught up in it. I don't care. I got other shit to worry about. I don't care about that. So, it's going to affect some drivers more than others, and it's been building in that front. When you look at Matt Kenseth being as upset as he was, that's pretty rare. Jeff, I want to say that it's pretty rare, but I think we're at like third or fourth time he's let his aggression, come up and he's gone after somebody. So I think it's pretty new to have an assist with Harvick kind of pushing him over into Gordon. That's the first. But I don't have, a clear vision as to what it is, but it's evident that it's been building and it's kind of at a high.
All right, we'll go to John, Reed, Al, and Jim.
Thanks. Jimmie Johnosn at ESPN.com. I'm sure you've watched the tapes of what happened on and off the track last week. First, do you think Brad's pass on Jeff was clean and legitimate? And second, do you think Jeff's reaction was justified after the race?
We're in a world and an environment where you've got to go. And if they make contact and Jeff doesn't get a flat, I don't think there's a fight. Jeff got a flat, and there was a fight. So, again, when you're in the moment and the helmets are on and everything's on the line, everybody has their own reason they're fighting this hard for the championship and what it means to them. You can go through Jeff and where he is and what this means to him, Brad, everybody involved with these heated moments. And it's hard to, I wasn't in the car, I wasn't in the scruff with those guys, but they, oh God, I guess I'm getting lost in my own thought. I'm trying to say something really profound, and I'm just not capable of doing that. What was your question again? Okay, back to the point. Jeff's reaction justified. You're going to have to ask him that. I don't know. Yep. Sorry to be so long-winded.
Okay, we have Reed right here.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. As recently as 2009, I remember a New Hampshire race where Montoya had a chance to move Mark Martin for the win, chose not to, probably because it was Mark Martin. But when do you think it was that the gentleman's agreement went by the boards?
I don't know if we can pick a hard point in time, but man, I'm guessing 5-8 years, somewhere in there. And truthfully, the guy on the track today that still races like that era of time is Tony Stewart. The relationship I have with him, I'll be 4 or 5 car lengths from him, not really even pressuring him yet, and he knows that I'm faster, and it almost shocks me, and I'm surprised that he pulls over and lets me go. Sometimes I almost run into the back of him because I don't know if his car broke or what's going on, but he still remembers and was raised in that environment and races that way. So it's a dying art for sure, and it's been some time now, and I think each year it just keeps getting more intense. And then again, by design, NASCAR, when they put this format in place, this is what they were hoping for. They wanted guys trying to shoot the gap on a green-white checkered restart, and if there's a scrum afterwards on pit road, then that's part of the deal. So it's all by design, and I guess it's working.
All right, we'll take a couple more questions. We got Al, then Jim.
Yeah, Jimmy, Al Pearson, Auto Week. You have not been involved in any of these recent fights, so maybe you're a good guy to ask. Are you surprised that nobody has lost points, that money's been taken in probation, which is meaningless? Are you surprised that nobody's lost any points at either Charlotte or Texas?
Yeah, the Charlotte thing surprised me with the contact on pit road, and Matt had his belts off. I think that I expected a little bit bigger of a fine there, and then seeing some video of what went on in the garage area after, something, in my opinion, something more needed to happen there. Getting out, and I don't know if a driver landed a punch. I know some crew members did. I think the fine fits the crime there, but some of the other very unsafe situations I think deserve more.
All right, Jim, go ahead with your question.
Jim Undershall, observer, this kind of goes back to what Reed was asking you. In this lost art, and where you talked about the Mark Martin way of pointing a finger by and you can pass them back later, do you think there's some drivers who have grown so accustomed to the way that has kind of dominated the sport for a while that they don't really like having to go the other direction?
Expand a little.
Like they might want to, they understand it's changing like you talked about, but they really don't like having to race that way?
Yeah, and I think, speaking of my own experience, there's times that I'm not happy with how I'm racing someone, and I get a little flashback in my mind to years ago where that just probably wasn't the cool thing to do unless there's 50 to go or a pit stop left in the race. But with track position being as important as it is, I think that's the root cause of the aggressive driving. If we could pass at will and start 30th and work your way to the front because you had a fast race car, you wouldn't have this taking place as often. But track position is the driving force in all of this aggressiveness. And then guys are getting fed up with being used up time and time again, and it's carrying over to pit road.
Jimmie, thank you for your time today, and good luck this weekend.